kind of expression of visibility of system status is that it can take so many forms and it has a really predictable component to it because it's always in the same place. So you can communicate things like, a phone call is coming in, or your AirPods are connected, or, the next thing you need to do. So it can, even though in a phone, there's like so many multiple systems having statuses in there. There's tons of software running for very distinct purposes. So on like an OS situation, it can expose the like biggest ones, or the most pertinent. The timing, I guess, piece of things comes up a lot. I mean, there's probably some interesting stuff to talk about what a system is. Like, is it the phone as a system telling you the stuff? And or is it each piece of the software within that system, like, coming to the surface at opportune moments? So I really like this as an example because of those reasons. Like, kind of an interesting thing to melt your brain around.
Mm-hmm. I find even more and more interesting as my main interaction with my phone most days sometimes. I feel like my home, even my wallpaper, without opening my phone, with all the um, the notifications, I can interact with them. I can use them without using my phone, weirdly. And the dynamic island are where I'll spend a lot of times when I'm working. I have to do this, have to, respond to this call, see this text, things like that. I feel like it becoming even a whole experience, not just something on top notifying of something is happening. It's really where I can play and interact and do my work even. That's where it's very interesting. I don't mind about all the apps, all the other layers, all this. My homepage with all the widgets and this, I can stay there for most of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't ready
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, because they're kind of like, I guess with notifications too, there's an element of visibility of system status there because they're triggering, well, a huge one, I guess. Like they're triggering you to know stuff as things happen. It's supposed to be like pretty real time, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well done. Any good practices we should maybe be inspired by in enterprise UX?
I mean, I think that here the thing to be inspired by is prioritization. Maybe. Because you see a lot of stuff in enterprise UX where it's just like, well, we made this interface that just has everything. And, everything's equal. Actions are of equal importance, and there's 47 of them. The rows in the table are of equal importance, and there's 3,000 of them. That kind of thing. So I think here what's cool, the simplicity piece and the prioritization is what I found makes good products in enterprise UX, because you know your users well enough to be like, this is important, rather than just like, here's everything. Go
Yeah,
read the manual.
of course. And Apple have the advantage to know exactly where you are and what you're doing, even with your phone. If you're walking, if you're not walking, if you have your iPad or MacBook open. So having the context, having access to all of this
Yeah.
is kind of useful. So
Yes.
yeah, it's very
You can dial in that timing thing, right? You can make it not weird. Or like make it a lot less weird, maybe, than in other situations.
so something like that for an enterprise. Let's say I'm having a toast or something. I don't know the term now. It's changing. If I have a toast, I had this conversation with someone maybe a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember exactly who online, and we still don't know how much time we should display a toast? Is it 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds? If there's an action, if there's more than 3 lines, if I don't even know. But I feel like Apple did it just right. I'm curious what it is. I would love to just have all the specification, all of this. That would be so useful.
Yeah. And how would you collect data on that? I think that's also why that's a really hard one. Because, like, when people go, like, "Ugh," you know, like, you don't have any way to see when people did that.
Yeah.
Well, no, but they do have, when you're picking up the phone, they can measure if you're picking up the phone just after this little notification. Kind of an
Yeah.
interesting data point here.
Yeah, that's true. Like, if you had a device level thing.
Yeah. And if you touch on it, if you actually interact on it, what you did after is help in any way. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good example. I see another example from Megan here.
Yeah. Let me move over here.
I'll follow you here. I'll click on your icon.
Yeah, cool. Let me just zoom in. So I really like this sort of exercise actually, because if you look at them, they all look very similar. And you also see these in a lot of libraries. It's one of these things that are like, I don't know, should we put on the top left? Should we put in the middle? Should we put, it's very subtle, unobtrusive. But actually, when we're talking about visibility of system status, we need to consider the different aspects and not just the sexy design aspect of it, because we can see, even though across these three, they look pretty much similar, I would say, the actual efficacy is quite different. So I'm gonna just click up a little bit here right now. So I was testing something, and a list is something that would contain a lot of tasks and tickets. I just right-clicked my list, and it moved directly into trash when I clicked delete. And this little thing popped up on the very lower left-hand corner. To me, that was a shock, because at first I didn't see it at first. This is a destructive action. You could delete your whole project ticket list, and it just appeared. There's an undo, which is fantastic, because this is a destructive action. But first of all, visibility, proximity was not great. Too subtle for such a destructive action of that magnitude. And it's also not specific. It didn't name the list that I just deleted. And worst of all, I put my mouse on top of this, and while I was thinking, it disappeared.
That's no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bad
okay.
babies. Bad babies.
So this is a destructive action which could, just delete all of the tickets in a list. And I thought, ooh, that's scary. I don't like that. To me, something like this, the effect of that type of action, it's huge. I wouldn't mind being interrupted, having something ugly and red and saying like, are you sure? Or maybe you did delete this, but just something a lot more obtrusive would help. Specifically, you deleted this list. It had 65 tickets in it. You can undo it if you want.
Or at least near the action.
Yeah.
I'm curious about hovering and keeping it there in a touch interface. I'm not sure how we would do that. Can we just click and hold? It's not impossible. So on desktop, it's kind of easy, but on touch, sorry.
Yeah, I would love because this just like appeared, slid in, and then slid out. And I was like, no, wait, my list.
Is it in the notification? Is it still in notification in ClickUp? Where you should be, right?
Not sure. I don't remember.
That would make sense.
If there were multiple methods, that's great. But for me, I was just looking, and I think a lot of us, while we're working and we're on enterprise platform, we're on our work computers, work monitors, and our computer, like the screens are huge. So with it on the lower left, I was like not feeling comforted and supported by that.
Yes. Very
Yeah.
fair. Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say to Benoit's point about mobile. In a mobile situation, I'm about to test this on ClickUp right now. I'm so curious, but it's because there's so much less screen real estate. If you had something like that, it would actually be pretty like, you know, it would have more cachet or more strength to it.
Let's try this for fun.
Yes, let's try this for fun. I'm going to duplicate a template and then I'm going to.
So y'all have ClickUp on your phone?
Yeah.
Sorry, not me.
I mean, I don't look at it all the time, but it's weirdly just easier to get notifications, I feel like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Um,
Delete list. Okay, I have
You
a
doing
are
it?
you yeah, I have a kind of are you sure with a delete and cancel. If I delete it, I do have the same thing, pretty much the same thing, but it's just taking the
Okay.
whole screen. Oh no, I cannot touch it. I cannot hold it. It will be there for 2 seconds and it's done.
okay.
And let's see if it's an notification. No. So I kind of lost it. No.
You lost
Yes.
it. Exactly.
Something destructive
Yeah.
like this, I don't mind if it stays on the screen. I don't mind having to close it out even
That's
because
Yeah.
it's not something I do all day, every day. And if I accidentally do it, I'd much rather have that comfort than be bothered another half second and clicking it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Until you do bulk actions, maybe, you're selecting a bunch of lists. Or
Yeah.
maybe that.
Could be, but that's like pretty edge case.
That's
'cause
even a
you're-
bigger thing. Than you
That's even
bigger.
bigger.
It's even more important, I say. Yeah, yeah.
You
Are you
want
sure?
even more
Are you really,
friction.
really, really sure? And yeah. Got it.
So friction's not bad.
No, well,
In
without
that
friction, there's
case.
no
In that
user
case.
experience. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So here, I'm just calling out Figma.
No.
And what is on the rest of the screen is your user list, everyone, all the members, all the billing, and you can just check off the check boxes of how many users you want to select. And something similar appears. It's in the middle bottom of the screen, but it's not like a massively you haven't done anything yet. All you've done is select either one user, and then you can see what you can do with one user, or multiple users, and then it changes a little bit. It reacts to you and it lets you do things with multiple users that don't, they're a little bit different. So you haven't executed an action, and I feel like this is fine. It works because I'll see it, I have the actions, I haven't done anything destructive yet. So it's okay that it's a little bit further. It allows me to scroll through my members list. It's not obtrusive, but it's there where I need it. So in that case, it works.
Yeah. And it's showing you live, like a live status, which
Yep.
is like as soon as you did your selection, it's like you made a selection. This is stuff you can do, right? So
Yes.
it's kind of in your face in that sense.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I
and
need to relog to Google. I don't know why Whimsical just logged me out.
Oh,
Rude.
yes. No worries.
Bye. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so we were looking at these two Benoit.
Yeah, exactly.
So it says one user selected, and then as you go, it'll say like 3 users, 4 users, and then the actions update.
I do have another example in Figma for visibility of system that you just made me think about because I want to be better at Figma. This is one of my new year resolution. Let's hope it will not, go beyond January. If I want to copy paste any kind of element and copy paste as a PNG, okay, I'm copying PNG. I want to use it elsewhere in other software. The system is telling me that they are working on it right now, but they are not showing it just near the object. You're showing it, at bottom. So most of the time I'm going to another application, copy pasting, and it's not working because Figma is working somehow. But because there's a small loading somewhere on the bottom, I just didn't find it.
Yeah. I think that like operating systems kind of have done a weird job with handling copying and pasting. and your clipboard.
In general.
In general, like they don't tell you stuff is in there. There's no sense of like it's ready to be pasted, and it's such a ubiquitous thing you do across all the applications, or like it doesn't tell you that's not possible to copy out of this application. Like it's just like good luck when you paste. Like,
That's great. Exactly. And but when the copy paste work very well, it's like magic. What?
I know.
I can copy from, I don't know, Miro to Whimsical to Figma without, and it's even
Yeah.
keeping the transparent background. Well done. Well
Wow.
done.
Yeah.
I know. It's a big surprise every time.
Yeah.
A delightful surprise when it works, which is nice too.
And you have Google
Yeah.
Drive. What's Google?
Yeah, what's
Yeah, down
Ring me a
here.
bell.
So this is the lower left one again. Very popular between the systems. And I just kind of wanted to call this out because it names things. And it makes such a huge difference. If you just, this is a move, not a delete, but this thing has been moved from here to there, and you can undo it. And that feels really good.
Yeah.
Much better, and it's, all the more for a destructive action. Which list, you're thinking has been moved to trash and everything. So microcopy makes a huge difference.
Would be even better if I can click on a reference.
Oh,
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you go to the target,
Yep.
that would be great. It's good. I do have something also. Let's share. I'll share an iPad app. I don't know why it's free, so I love it. I don't know. How can I do that? Window. I have to share a window.
do you have your iPad plugged into your computer, plugged into QuickTime? Is that the thing you
Exactly.
did? Yes.
So sharing something. Okay, so Mac Mastercard. It's one. I was not ready for that because I found this big yellow book on my dad desk a while ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago. It's like the Bible for everything mechanical, everything. And if you have it, it's kind of something you cherish, so like a Bible of everything you can buy in the world. And you can really buy pretty much everything. And so, yes, it's big. Why should I keep that in my backpack? It's way too much. So, of course, I downloaded the digital version, and I was not ready for this quality. It's very, very good. I'm not even sure I found something like that before. So it's about filtering and displaying your result. That's kind of, I really like it. So let's choose whatever it is, like fastening, whatever. And I'm choosing screw and balls, for example. So now you can feel that you have a new page. And now when you're selecting something, for some, okay, so now, as you can see, I have tags on top. And I do love that I selected something, but everything is still there. And so it's kind of, they are building me the UI, and it's not just one place. I have one filter applied, I have 13 products, I have some tags, I have some reaction on the side. So I kind of know where I'm going, and the system is telling me even more and more information at the point that when I'm selecting, for example, a couple of product like this, the system is still telling me where I'm coming from. I have screws, I have all the tread size, the length on top of it. And so I'm not losing. I know, heuristic can be, it's not just one heuristic in the silo, it can touch everything else. But telling me where I'm coming from and gives me this sense of information. And I'm not just going from result to just a page. I can play with that. I can react with what the system is giving me. It's kind of so great. And so you're just not point A to B. You're telling me all the information and where I am and all the meta information, and I can play with that. And sometimes it's giving me static filtering, sometimes dynamic filtering, but the way it's giving me, this information is kind of just smart in general. So for this kind of information, it will always display me this information. So, okay, you're not hiding everything. I know when I'm going. I know you're working on something. When I'm going here, I have, all the tags. And just the way that it's giving me all the notification when I'm adding something. There's something in the button, there's something on top, and there's something on a card. So
Nice.
wherever I am, exactly, I can add another one. I'll feel that the system is working on it, adding
Yeah.
it, confirming it, and I have so many information at the right time that I did the right thing, and the system is taking care of it. It's just beautiful. And now I can change whatever I want. Remove a filter and go back to the result. That's just, by the way, an interaction that I never seen before. I'm removing a filter. I'm going back to the result. So the way I don't know. It's just perfect. And I know it's a card experience, but it's so intense. This data set is so big. You don't know how big it is, but it doesn't
Oh,
feel big.
yeah.
It doesn't feel big at all. And so it's giving me the information just right at the right moment, and just the feeling of I'm changing. I don't know. There's something here I just love. I know it's more than just system of visibility status, but a couple of things like that just made me trust the system and telling me where it is.
Exactly. Yeah, because I would say I mean, just seeing what you've done so far, like if I wanted to save an item, I feel like it would tell me it's saved, just based on the behavior that we've seen already.
Yeah. Exactly. I did that. I saved something, all of this, and feel like the system is working for me, not against me. It's helping, it's confirming, it's slowing even things down. So, because it can happen like that in, half a second. No, it's slowing this thing down just to show me that he actually did the thing. And they record everything I did. And that's what I like. Just not tell me what the state are. Bring me there with you.
Yeah. And it teaches you, like, it looks too like it's teaching you how to use the filter interaction
In a way,
because it builds it. And then the unique ID part, when you go into a product, then you go out of it again and then, remove that. It built up gradually as you went. So that is like system status and help and probably other heuristics, but it paces you through that, because we've seen lots of examples where you get a surprise, I'm on a filter page when it was supposed to be navigation, for example, and you're like, that just does not work. But something like this, where it actually is building and like giving you information piece by piece, it's fine. It does. It doesn't have to be drama.
Exactly. And the small animation here for this kind of product, just telling me, oh, I'm displaying you a little, toaster, but just perfect. It feel like it's time. For example, you have this loading, good, it's loading. Now I'll show you this notification, and then you'll have your information on the order tab. The sequence of it is just perfect. And it's not just I'm displaying everything, just add ting, 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 ting. The interface is just changing from 0 to 1. No, I'm look at this, now look at that, now look at this. Now you know.
Timing.
That
Timing
Oh,
and
is
timing.
well coordinated choreography.
And I think it's part of it. It's not just the microcopy is clearly important. The size, the placement, the layout. The timing now, it's kind of critical. And ClickUp is a great example. You display it for how many times? If the notification were just a little bit slower, maybe I would see it. Maybe even Figma, oh, okay, it's there. I kind of know now. So, yeah, now we have to design everything, not just the copy, but the way it appear, the way it disappear, the way you, and when exactly in the sequence. I think it was a great example.
Yeah, that's an awesome example. I'm blown away. I was looking at like IKEA a while ago to look at parts because I wanted to look at like some really big data sets and see how much discoverability was in them for search and stuff. that would have been a interesting example to use at the time. But I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, it's an okay experience. I won't say, like, anything bad. But that is like, oh, that's how it could be.
Exactly. I kind of hate now that when you're displaying a big data table, one of our preferred subject, and you're changing any filter or whatever, it's the system just put a big loading and just showing you something completely new. It's kind of not helping. I know you're telling me that there's, that many filters applied, that many products, but it's not exactly a good UX of how you can inform me what's happened in the system. There's a better way. Skeleton's kind of something now, but now just stop everything. You have just to close your eyes and, okay, now you can open them.
Yeah, that's true.
We're not there anymore. Walk me through all of this. And this subtlety is kind of hard to get, but you can feel it.
Yeah, because like, if you thought about that, if you did a more paced, like, thing there, like that had more than just a peekaboo at the end, you'd go to maybe apply a filter, maybe a couple of them, and you would see some changes that may happen when you hit go, right? You get a good preview of like what's going to happen, or at least like a stronger sense of it. And then hit it, because it is pretty jarring, and they're like, surprise, 2 results.
And we think, okay, great, we heuristic done, visibility of system status. Yeah, it's kind of easy now. And with more and more and more data on enterprise UX, it's not just that. It's very easy to just fill the screen with, all the information. This is changes, and have a big, are you sure? But this kind of pacing, timing, I think your article is explaining it very well. It's not just, type of displayed, is when, how, right moment, and figure out the context of use. So there's more work than just displaying, the classic material toast in a page.
Yeah, it's very situational.
Yeah, there's not just a slap of toast on it. Yeah, totally. And it's like, it's kind of cool with visibility of system status, because there's so many actually really, really simple UI stuff that's being used. We talked about like copy and just, stuff like toast and just a little bit of, but it's that choreography part to actually make it make sense. Yeah. This is why, like, if you have a design system that just has all the pieces in it, like, you're not gonna crush it, like, just out of the bed, because like you have the pieces, right?
Yeah,
makes sense. And we have to think about the fact that enterprise UX, we're giving a tool for everybody to use all day, not just once a day. They are living in this environment, this ecosystem. So if they feel like it's an organic type of reaction when, okay, it's giving this and this and that, and not just giving a task to this big robot and it will tell me, a command line somehow. It's kind of a bad experience. So having something a little bit like that, when it's pacing, it's keeping with you, it's even breathing with you. You can feel it at the end of the day. This software will be preferred, people will want to use it, even if there's not much features. And for enterprise UX, I think we're finding it right now more meaningful.
Well, one of the themes that I mentioned a couple times throughout some of our articles is the fun thing about enterprise, like you mentioned, all day. A lot of times people aren't using these just for fun, just for kicks. The risks are very different. It could, your career job performance is on the line. If you deleted, the list,
exactly.
There's things on the line, or it could be your patient medical records. You're a new medical assistant, and then all these medical records, you're trying to move them, but you accidentally deleted them. Financial records, like everything.
You could just crash the stock market. If you press the wrong button, it's like, Yeah.
And it's even worse when the system is saying, hold on, working, hold on. And the more you old, the more you're. Let's hope. Let's hope I didn't destroy or broke something. Exactly. And there's something about deleting. For example, I've seen a couple of years ago someone who just need to ask an item every couple of minutes. Every couple of minutes he had something, and the screen just went white and then black again with the information. So the interface is just saying, yeah, there's something new, and I'm blinking you in your face every time, cling, new. So it doesn't feel a lot, but at the end of the day, I kind of had 1,000 flash in front of me just because reloading. This is a
That's
weird
so bad.
system visitor status. Yeah, it did the job. It's done. Oh, but goddamn, I don't want to look at this interface. It's like a
Yeah.
robot saying, "Done, done,
Done.
done."
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Except, you can have a seizure from it. So, not great, I would say.
and the other way is to have just a little loading on the notification that the system is doing something. So yeah, the extreme. So that's why it feel an easy heuristic, but it's doing it well. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's kind of a good segue to end it, I think. So
It's
anything- it's hard. So our job are hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So and
Poor us.
we're just victims of. Yeah.
Yes.
So next time you think about visibility of status, just look at the article just to make sure that you don't forget anything. It's not just the visuals, not just a microcopy. It's all of this. Think about it. It's very hard to find example on the web, but in your life there's tons of them every time you're interacting. So just be more intentional about it. So thank you, Kira. Thank you, Megan. What's the next heuristic we'll talk about? Do you know, or should
Matching. It's number 2.
Oh.
Matching real world with the computer. How does that go on? I'm not
Yes.
Googling it right now.
Matching system with real world.
Yes. Okay.
That would be a fun one. So if you have any question about it, don't hesitate, comment on it. And again, subscribe to be notified next time we'll have a new big deep dive articles or webinar with you. So thank you again. Have a good Friday and see you in the next heuristic.
See you next
Awesome.
time.